Alright, game devs, I've been playing around with Blender for a moment now, and I want to share with you how I would learn it as a game dev if I was to do it all over again. Blender is a 3D model software packed with so many features, but only a few are really necessary for game development. I did a lot of tutorials like the donut tutorial, which we'll talk about in a minute. I also did paid courses and some exploring by myself with Blender. Okay, so let's assume we never opened Blender before and we want to learn it. What is the first thing you see when you search for learning Blender as a beginner? A donut. Everybody talks about the donut tutorial, but why? It's a very well-made tutorial by a guy who knows the software like the back of his hand. I remember doing the tutorial just like every Blender newbie does and barely understanding what I was doing. It's such a dense software with so many features. There's no chance that you will be comfortable with it even on your second playthrough of the donut tutorial. The only thing I got familiar with after finishing the tutorial is following Blender Guru's directions and the very non-intuitive controls. You know that button that you probably only use when scrolling on your browser? Well, now it's the button that you will use for everything. But I digress here. This is not a tutorial about Blender. This is a tutorial about tutorials. So if you really want to attend the donut tutorial, go for it. The teacher is good, the instructions are clear, and you'll get familiar with the controls and the interface. But if you learn Blender for game development, as we mentioned, I wouldn't bother going past part 5. It's about making a scene and going into more complicated stuff that isn't really game related. Here's what I did once I finished the donut tutorial. I tried doing models by myself. I didn't fully understand the concept of faces, so I wasn't bothered by how many triangles I had when I made my barbecue model. This was not made as a game asset. It was only to practice what I learned and play around with some of the Blender features. I went into as much detail as I could. It took me about 50 hours until I was somewhat satisfied with it, but now I'm looking at it and thinking of how much time and energy I wasted on it. Look at how many faces it has. It's almost as many polygons as the mustache of Snake in Metal Gear Solid 4. What I'm saying is that you might want to skip the donut tutorial. Go straight to learning the fundamentals of game assets where every polygon matters, and don't waste your time with features that you don't need in Blender. The best advice I got about Blender for game dev is to get your